Welcome to our weekly show, Closeup. I'm Abraham Asrat. In this edition, we first see about Africa Business and Investment Forum for Public-Private Sector Dialogue. The session has happened in Addis Ababa immediately after the 30th African Union Summit. The forum highlighted despite the growth registered in the continent, the engagement of the private sector is not satisfactory. On the occasion, representatives of African private sectors have called on African leaders to create an enabling environment so they can contribute to the continental economy. Let's watch what Jerusalem Bus have produced about the forum.
Africa has been striving to grow its capacity in investment, agribusiness, infrastructure, manufacturing industry, energy and tourism development, among others. Despite the growth registered in the continent, the engagement of the private sector is not satisfactory. That's why Africa Business and Investment Forum for Public-Private Sector Dialogue was held last week here in Addis Ababa to promote the private sector-led growth in Africa. On the occasion, representatives of African private sector have called on African leaders to create an enabling environment so they can contribute to the continental economy.
We need to make it a priority for the African private sectors and the governments in particular to work closely together to make sure that this opportunity and its benefits accrues to Africans. You can build the economy, you can build businesses, but also you can build African businesses. It's a very fine but very important difference. Ownership of business matter. Participation of locals matters even more. And I think that we haven't been paying a lot of attention to that. And I want to appeal to you, our leaders, to think more carefully about how you can get the private sectors in your respective countries, young and nascent and weak as they may be today, to actively participate in these platforms that you are building for us.
Governments across Africa take the private sector very seriously. I have heard a number of you, Excellencies, speak about the private sector as the driver. And we in the private sector refer to government as the enabler. We have seen great things happen where at the country level, the governments partner with the private sector in various ways. But however, at the regional level, we find a gap. And if you look at the growth pattern of any country, any company, you tend to move beyond your country and expand across the region. And perhaps you end at the global level. That has been our experience. As moving from Nigeria, we expanded across Africa. But there are several things that cannot be addressed at a country level. How do I move goods and services, people from one country to the other?
Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn pinpointed Ethiopia's effort to increase the private sector's engagement on the economy by attracting FDI.
The business environment in Ethiopia has improved remarkably in recent years, and this is primarily driven by our conviction that the private sector is a key engine of growth for Ethiopia's development. Guided by this conviction, Ethiopia has been pursuing pragmatic policies and strategies that have delivered double-digit growth for more than a decade and a half now. We recognize foreign direct investment as one of the key resources for our growth. Therefore, we attach utmost priorities to promoting external trade and capital flow into Ethiopia. To this end, we have in place a wide assortment of investment incentives, which are, I hope you will agree, amongst the best in the continent.
Rwandan President and the new chairman of AU, Paul Kagame, also stressed institutional reform of AU to increase the engagement of private sector through considering its multidimensional importance to the continent.
The success of business in Africa is critically important to our future, that the ongoing institutional reform of the African Union includes provisions for increased engagement with the private sector. But the primary objective of the reform is an African Union that is financed sustainably from our own resources. Governments can meet that commitment if the business sector is flourishing and paying taxes. We need active support from the private sector, in fact, and without your voice, something essential is missing.
The forum is also aimed at increasing business opportunities with the United States. Ethiopian Premier Hailemariam highlighted United States' role in business cooperation with Africa as immense.
I must take this opportunity to thank the people and government of the United States of America once again for their continuous support to advance economic growth in Africa through the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, in addition to providing fair price and modest market for African products. This program contributes to the increasing economic ties between the US and Africa. In the case of Ethiopia, for instance, the trade volume between our two countries has reached about 1.8 billion in 2016. While there is a lot more room for growth and investment in Ethiopia by American companies is gaining momentum. Apart from domestic investors in Ethiopia, African businesses like Aliko Dangote and the US businesses like Boeing has always had a close tie with Ethiopian Airlines. Other companies such as MasterCard, General Electric, Black Rhino, Honeywell, and PVH have established their business in my country.
The U.S. ambassador to AU also underlined her country's commitment to work with Africa.
Trade and investment, and that's one way in which the United States measures the importance of Africa, but it is certainly not the only dimension to our partnership. We work together in important areas like peace and security and in health. The United States government is proud to be one of the main sponsors of the newly stood up African Union CDC. We have a lot of really fabulous work to do together, and I look forward in 2018 to further advancing those shared goals and objectives.
Kagame also noted about collaboration between the public and private sector so essential for Africa's transformation.
In Rwanda, for example, we have entered into a public-private arrangement with a Spanish Angolan firm to manage our largest hospital. And what is being done there is already showing good success. We are also partnering with an American company, Zeppelin, to pioneer the use of drone aircraft to deliver blood and other medical supplies to rural areas. There is much more we can do when we cooperate, and this conference may generate innovative ideas which we can take forward.
On the conclusions of this first Africa Business and Investment Forum, AU has pledged to create conducive environment to African private sector through using this forum as a platform for increasing the engagement of private sector in Africa's development.
African Union is working on the developments of Pan-Africanism by member states to harmonizing investment policies to the continent. We have components of investment policies with abundant agreements with states. Therefore, we have several projects at the continental level. We have been also taking different measures to build conducive environment to private sector in Africa. You can trust Africa and its potential.
The forum was attended by African leaders, African and U.S. public and private sector executives, representatives of institutions, among others. The next forum will be held after coming AU Summit.
Thank you. Welcome back. Our next item is on Addis Abeba's Ethio International Mining Exhibition. There is a growing number of local and foreign investors in the mining sector of Ethiopia. Their engagement has lifted the mining sector's contribution to the economy from 1% to 1.5%. But Ethiopian government envisages raising this number to 10%. Hence, various activities are put in place to achieve the set target. Daniel Kasahun presents Closeup February's file.
Geological surveys prove that Ethiopia is blessed with abundant surface and underground mine resources. Economic minerals, gold, tantalum, platinum, potash, emerald and opal are some of the minerals currently being extracted from various locations in Ethiopia. It's now playing share in generating foreign currency and creating ample job opportunities for 100,000 citizens. However, the mining sector's contribution to the economy was less than 1% for long, due to restrictive laws and regulations, lack of skilled manpower, and awareness. As law is amended in 1991, private companies start to engage in the sector, which by then, mining sector's contribution to the economy now rose to 1.5%. Local private companies, including Midrock Mining Group and Izana Mining Development plc, and others are engaged in extraction of gold, tantalum, and other minerals. Foreign companies from the USA, China, Canada, Italy, Norway and other countries are also engaged in intensive exploration of gemstones, potash and other precious minerals. Ethiopian government has now set a goal of reaching this revenue to 10% in the year 2023. To this effect, promotion of its assets and attracting investors in the sector are already happening. Recently, a mining exhibition named Ethio International Mining Expo happened here in Addis Ababa. On the event, Minister of Mines, Petroleum and Natural Gas urged investors to exploit Ethiopia's potential using current conducive policies.
To mention some of incentives provided by the Ethiopian government for investors are market freedom, cost recovery, exemption from customary duties and taxes, opening of the foreign currency account in Ethiopia, and so on. And the factors that encourage investment in the mining sector of Ethiopia are the diversity of natural resources, the investment policy of the government, the commitment of the government to assist and protect the private investment.
Participants revealed the expo benefits on creating market chain, sharing of experiences, and building awareness on Ethiopia's mining assets.
What you see are blue precious stones. We buy them from women from Bahar Dar and add value to it. Then we export these handmade jewelries to USA and South Korea. This expo helps us to get potential buyers, experience, and above all, we create awarenesses on Ethiopian mining assets, and Ethiopia makes such jewelries at home.
Opal, emerald.
Opal, emerald, and ruby are the major minerals we extract and export. From this, emerald extraction is widely going on. We are exporting these minerals to Thailand, India, Spain, Germany, and America. We believe such exhibitions are important to promote countries' mineral assets to the world and widen our business chains.
It's really good to be a part of these kind of expos, and I'm sure these expos will contribute a lot to the industry. To grow the industry, because all people are at one place, so it is good to know each other, various kind of providers which can be useful in the mining industry. So I'm sure this is going to be a huge potential for the mining industry.
The ministry says it's exerting efforts on addressing bottlenecks of creating adequate skilled human power in the market chain.
In terms of enhancing the market chain, we have instituted a bureau which facilitates market chain for mining companies. This bureau follows the international market and keeping former investors engaged in the sector. The other is producing skilled manpower. Various universities in the country are opening mining and geoscience-related departments, and we are creating opportunities to emulate experiences through such exhibitions.
Organizers hope to draw many more participants in the coming year and make it an influential expo in the continent. The government aims to facilitate the establishment of large and diverse minerals industry in the country, thereby realizes supporting industrial development in the country and create ample job opportunities.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for being with ZVC. See you next time with yet another edition of the program, Close Up. Goodbye.